Good afternoon, everyone. So today, together with Ms. Duero, we will be discussing the Republic Act 10687, otherwise known as Unified Student Assistance System for Tertiary Education or UNIFAST Act. Specifically, I will be reporting the articles 5 to 7. So without further ado, let's start with our discussion. Republic Act Number 10687, an act providing for a comprehensive and unified student financial assistance system for tertiary education or UNIFAST, thereby rationalizing access thereto, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. And Section 5, Scope and Coverage of the UNIFAST. The UNIFAST shall consist of all existing modalities of STUFAPs for tertiary education and special purposes education assistance in both public and private institutions, including scholarships, grants and aid, student loans, and government programs in partnership with other stakeholders, among others, and which are nationally funded and are implemented by national and local government agencies, branches, and instrumentalities. A student enrolling in tertiary education, whether in public, private, national, or local institution, can avail of any one or more of the said modalities of the STUFA. The UNIFAST under this Act shall harmonize, reform, strengthen, expand, rationalize, and refocus all legislated or ongoing STUFAPs of the government for greater efficiency, coherence, synchronization, effective funding, and improved coordination among implementing entities and their specific jurisdiction, provided that nothing in this act shall prevent the continuation of effective programs implemented by other government agencies or of state-funded STUFAPs with specific and targeted beneficiaries such as existing technical vocational scholarship program under the TESDA, scholarship under the Indigenous Peoples' Rights Act, the National Agriculture and Fisheries Education System, Agriculture Competitiveness Enhancement Fund Scholarship, the Science and Technology Scholarship Act of 1994, the Fast Track S&T Scholarship Act of 2013, the expanded and government assistance of students and teachers in private education, student grants in aid programs of poverty alleviation of the CHED and the Department of Social Welfare and Development, which shall continue to under the jurisdiction of the agency currently responsible for their design and implementation, provided further that the beneficiary targeting and standard for selection and retention and awards shall be compliant with the overall policies and quality, sustainability, and efficiency set by the board, provided finally that the relevant government agencies shall submit an annual report on the implementation of their STUFAPs to the UNIFAST board. The above provisions, notwithstanding all other requirements mentioned herein, shall be complied with upon the approval of the implementing rules and regulation of this Act. And Section 6, Scholarships. The unified, improve, and expand government-funded scholarship programs shall be instituted to promote an environment conducive for the development of bright and talented students to serve the public good and enlarge the pool of world-class Filipino researchers, artists, innovators, thinkers, and leaders. The board shall formulate and establish the policies and mechanism for the identification of beneficiaries based on objective indicators derived from credible databases, including students whose family are beneficiaries of the poverty alleviation programs of the government, provided that the beneficiaries under the Scholar ng Bayan Act shall be prioritized. The financial amount of scholarships shall be determined by the board, taking into consideration the actual cost of various programs in the top public and private HEIS, provided that the financial amount of scholarships shall not exceed the actual cost of the tertiary education. In Section 7, Grant and Aid. To improve equity and facilitate democratic access to equality education, given income poverty and inequity, grants and aid shall be made available to students belonging to poor families and marginalized sectors. The board shall formulate and establish the policies and mechanisms for the identification of guarantees based on objective indicators derived from credible databases, including students whose families are beneficiaries of the poverty alleviation program of the government. The financial amount comprising grants and aid shall be determined by the board, taking into consideration the actual cost of various programs in the top public and private HEIS. That's all for my report. Thank you for listening.